Oscar, do not ask me for money. I have absolutely none spare.
Dear boy, you've just inherited £20,000, have you not? Surely you don't wish to see me on the street.
As your behaviour like no prostitute, Oscar. Perhaps the street's where you belong.
For God's sake, Posey.
Keep out of this, Robbie. This has nothing to do with you.
Fortunately, it has. Ever since Oscar threw in his lot with you in Naples, he's been cut adrift by everyone. Constance has died, his sons have been taken away from him, his so-called friends have deserted him, and now you, who owe him everything, turn your back.
I am sick and tired of being blamed for the self-inflicted wounds of a gluttonous snob. I'm not my lover's keeper. If he wants to eat, he should work. Oscar, what have you written recently?
Ah, the pudding trolley. I see your little eyes light up. What shall we have? Probably your burst of hemorrhoid. It was only a passing thought.
Like all your work.
You disgust me, Posey.
Do you suppose I care?
When you first kind of envisioned this project and came up with the screenplay, did you imagine yourself starring and directing?
No. When I first came up with the screenplay, I imagined myself starring. And I'd hoped to have a fantastic director, not me, making it. But that was not to be. The first one that I wrote the screenplay for backed out, and then so did about 7 others. So nobody that I wanted me. Story of my life. And so then I was left to myself to direct it or let it die. And I decided to try and keep going.
And how did you find the process of directing? Did you enjoy it?
It was absolutely... directing I enjoyed very much. Well, no, someone told me, I said I wouldn't say enjoy, but I liked it. I thought I knew what I was doing. And I had an amazing team around me. I had a fantastic director of photography. I had a great production designer, an amazing costume designer, a great editor, and amazing actors. So I was really supported. And I think, really, for me, a director's main job is to make choices, because he doesn't actually do the lighting. The director of photography does the lighting. But if he chooses a director of photography who's completely at odds with the idea that the director wants to do it, then it's a train crash. So likewise with the production design, likewise with the costume. And I think making those choices is incredibly important. After that, in a way, you have to give over to those people. And it's the same with the actors. You can't throttle the performance out of an actor. You have to choose the right actor. And so I think it's the main talent of a director is choosing.
Wilde's been put on screen a few times in a few different kind of guises. What did you want to do differently with this?
All the other stories of Wilde end with him going to prison. In other words, they deal mostly with the glamorous side of his life, the success story that goes wrong. So for that reason alone, the fact that they all did that, I wanted to, chart virgin territory at least. But for me, the story of him as the last of the great 19th century vagabonds was the one that was exciting. The jailbird who, living in disgrace, shuffling across the boulevard like a terrifying old toad, cadging drinks off people, getting a bit of sex here and there. I find that very charming and inspiring in a way. Survival. I think Wilde was a great survivor. And I love the way he attacked this exile and this poverty with humour. And I love the way he just kept on going despite everything.
What's the matter, Oscar?
What more do you want? What more do you want? Get your hands off me! You've taken everything, you little shits! Everything! My family, my work, my freedom, everything! There's nothing left to take!
What are you gonna do, kill me? I'm already dead.
You cunt!
Now go! The natural habitat of the hypocrite is England. Go back there. Leave me in peace. Go!
I didn't know you had it in you.
I don't. There's nothing in me. Not even fear.
And when it kind of came to picking a supporting cast, what was it about the actors you chose that kind of attracted you to it?
They were all... Emily, I wrote the role of Constance with her in mind. Colin Firth came to the first reading and read the part of Reggie Taylor and agreed that I could use his name to try and get deals for the film. He wasn't quite as famous as he was now then, and Tom Wilkinson likewise, and they were all amazing. They let me use their names, and I raised the money on them all, and then worried if that they would be available to do the film. And Colin particularly, because he became so incredibly successful at that point. Every single one of my financial sources had him written into the contract. So if I didn't get him, the film was not going to happen. So I have everything to thank him for, because the film, he was responsible for making the film.
What about the kind of younger members of the cast? Because they're just as crucial, aren't they?
They're amazing. First of all, Colin Morgan, who plays Bosie, is one of our greatest young actors. He's at the moment in a play in the National Theatre with rave reviews, and you should go and see it. He's a great actor. He's from Northern Ireland, in fact, but he has the most amazing ear for accents, and he's completely... Ziggy, the head of Lionsgate, who's worked with him 3 or 4 times, didn't realise until about the 3rd screening that it was this actor. Edwin Thomas also, I think, does an amazing job as Robbie Ross. And also in the smaller parts, I was so lucky to manage to force lots of other friends to take part. Anna Chancellor, Julian Wadham, Joshua Maguire are all amazing actors. Beatrice Dahl, Tom Colley, John Standing, all of them incredible. And I think that's what makes my film good, if anything does. It's the depth and texture of the performance.
And finally, when you finish with Oscar, what will we see you in next?
I'm doing at the moment The Name of the Rose as a series, which is a novel by a guy called Umberto Eco. And what I'd love to do after that is to start another project of my own. That's my dream. I don't know whether I'll manage to achieve it, but that's what I'd like to do.
It's Oscar bleeding Wilde! I shall, under such circumstances, pass the severest sentence that the law allows. The sentence of the court is that you be imprisoned and kept to hard labor for 2 years.
For 2 years, I have lain on hard boards, knelt on cold stone, dined on shame, and ready to return to life.
I feel sure that if I was to see him once, I would forgive him everything.
I can make you happy.
Yes, you can. I dare say what I have done is fatal.
Be careful, Roscoe.
I love him as I always did, with a sense of tragedy and ruin. There's no mystery so great as suffering. But suffering is nothing when there is love. Love is everything. I'm in mortal combat with this wallpaper, Robbie. One of us has to go.